Hello, here are the morning news. Biannual meetings of leaders from the Caribbean community CARICOM open in Nassau, Bahamas, Thursday.
Of government of the 15-member Caribbean community CARICOM will discuss three main issues over the next 2 days: the composition and financing of the Marijuana Commission, the role of the Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO, in the support and development of regional agriculture, and relations with the Dominican Republic. The leaders will also discuss just how the 15-member countries can pool their cultural, social, and economic resources to help each other. In a statement issued just before the opening ceremony, Bahamian Prime Minister Perry Christie said the regional bloc continues to work together to improve standards of work and living for citizens, accelerated, coordinated, and sustained economic development, and the expansion of trade. The 15 member states of CARICOM are Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, Montserrat, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Kitts and Nevis, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. Another area of discussion will be issues related to native genocide and reparations for slavery. Now, each CARICOM state has been mandated to establish a National Reparations Commission. The two-day 26th intersessional meeting of CARICOM ends on Friday, February 27, 2015. From Castries, St. Lucia, Alison Kentish for teleSUR English.
Thank you. In Argentina, a federal judge dismissed the allegations by late prosecutor Alberto Nisman, who allegedly said President Cristina Fernandez tried to cover up details of the 1994 bombing of a Jewish center. Our correspondent in Buenos Aires explains.
Yes, two big news stories making headlines here in Argentina this Thursday evening, one being the fact that federal judge here in Argentina, Daniel Rafecas, has rejected the official complaint originally filed by former prosecutor, the now deceased former prosecutor Alberto Nisman, which accuses in that complaint the head of state here in Argentina, Cristina Fernandez, and various other government officials of a supposed cover-up of Iranian suspects into the 1994 bombing of the Amir building here in Buenos Aires. The judge, in an official statement this Thursday, says, quote, "There is not even one element of evidence that points to the head of state in the complaint," unquote. This was released today, and you may recall that that original complaint made by Nisman has been taken over by by prosecutor Policita here in Argentina. That's it from now. As more news on this evolves, you'll be first to know here on teleSUR. Reporting from Buenos Aires, Leo Politico.
Thank you, Leo. The Peruvian government is under pressure. It has been accused of covering up a Swiss multinational, which was allegedly responsible for poisoning residents. Rael Mora has this report.
Official studies in the region of Espinar, Peru, show that 100% of inhabitants have tested positive for dangerous levels of toxic metals. The suspect is Swiss company Glencore, which has large copper mining operations there. However, the government is protecting Glencore, according to the Office of Congresswoman Veronica Mendoza.
The state, instead of conducting a serious assessment for the people's treatment, not only fails to give them a report on the impact of those 6 metals, it also hides information on the other 11 metals. The state continues to monitor the situation, but without taking action for health improvements or for the causes of contamination.
Dr. Chumbe from the Peruvian Medical School explains that time is critical for those affected by toxic metals from the copper mines, as the probability of surviving or avoiding permanent damages increases by eliminating the sources and undergoing medical treatment as soon as possible.
Chemical agents in general, and in particular heavy metals, can cause chronic acute damages including cancer. Cadmium and arsenic are present there, and they are proven to be cancerous.
The government has not taken action since the first study showing contamination was released in 2010 and the second in 2013. With no solution in the horizon, civil unrest is expected in the region, with large protests set for May of this year. Previous protests saw violent clashes between police and residents. Report teleSUR, Rael Mora.
And now we go to Colombia. A revealing report of the conflict situation since the start of peace process has been released, noting that the country is living through some of the most peaceful times in decades. Our correspondent Natalia Margarita has more.
Pasamos de 341 a 296.
The renowned Colombian NGO Peace and Reconciliation has released a report revealing numbers and details on the development of the armed conflict during the more than 2 years of the ongoing peace negotiations, as well as during the time in which the FARC has been implementing a unilateral ceasefire.
Compared with 2013, in 2014 there was a 40% reduction in the FARC's military activity. Now, if we compare that with the unilateral ceasefire implemented since the 20th of December last year, the reduction is almost 100%. We are living the most peaceful period of time for the last 35 years.
By contrasting sources from both the Ministry of Defense and the FARC, monitoring regional media outlets and doing field work in more than 250 Colombian municipalities, the researchers have come to the conclusion that around 1,000 combatant lives have been saved, and moreover, 4,000 civilians' lives have been preserved.
This year, we saved many civilians, and forced displacement was reduced by 57% in 2014, which is quite a significant number of people who were prevented from having to flee their homes. All of that is an advancement in peace.
However, social leaders in the rural areas of Colombia have been denouncing the continued military actions of the Colombian army, which in some cases have even increased.
The systematic repression, indiscriminate bombardments and machine gunning by the army continue to occur, but also the arbitrary detentions of leaders from the farmers' organizations continue.
As the positive impact of the FARC's unilateral ceasefire has been acknowledged by social organizations as well as national institutions, people in the rural areas are still demanding from the government the implementation of a bilateral ceasefire. From Bogotá, Natalia Margarita, teleSUR.
To Mexico, police attacked and arrested protesters in the capital Thursday. The demonstrations were calling for an in-depth investigation into the disappearance of the 44 Ayotzinapa students in September last year. Several arrested protesters were bleeding. Many said that they had been assaulted by police. The march also marked 5 months since the students went missing. Parents and supporters of the movement claimed the federal police were involved in the disappearances, handing the students over to local gang members. The allegations of political and police corruption have led to mass protests throughout the country. And in Spain, protesters demonstrated against the government's new higher education reforms, which could cut undergraduate degrees to 3 years. Students were joined by striking Coca-Cola workers, and activists are angered by the current hepatitis C crisis. Thousands had marched peacefully from Atocha train station to Puerta del Sol main square, where a confrontation took place following speeches by protest leaders. The humanitarian crisis in Ukraine continues despite the Minsk agreements being complied with. Residents of Debaltseve are living outside their homes destroyed by intense bombing. People are facing below zero mean temperatures, and many have moved into the basements of ruined buildings in order to protect themselves from the cold weather. Debaltseve, in the self-proclaimed Donetsk Republic, was reclaimed last week by independentists after they forced the Ukrainian troops withdraw. And while Cuba and U.S. dialogue takes place in Washington today, Havana's Cigar Festival is being celebrated against the partial detente. U.S. travelers are now allowed to bring back up to $100 in combined tobacco and alcohol products for the first time in decades. At the competition, contest can be seen holding their Cuban cigars, trying to keep the ash from falling as long as possible. Sometimes the cigar ends get hot and burn the fingers. Havana's annual cigar festival has attracted people from near and far for 17 years. Last contest was won by Cuban Olivia Terry, who managed to accumulate 16.7 centimeters or 6.6 inches of ash before it crumbled. More on these and other stories on our website, telesurtv.net/English. Have a nice day.